Hi everyone, and welcome to day 2 of our topic 5 review. For today's activity, we're going to be working on page 242 in our Envisions Volume 1 Math Workbook. Today we are going to be completing a vocabulary review. So we have a word list for this activity. The word list has the words add, equation, more, and subtract. So as we're working through these problems in this activity, we will see a lot of these words. So pay attention to how they are used in each of the questions. Let's get started with number 1. In number 1, it says circle true or false for the addition equation below. The addition equation is 4 plus 6 equals 5 plus 2 plus 3. So we talked a lot about true equations in topic 5. A true equation is when both equations on each side of this equal sign are the same number. So to determine if this equation is true or false, we will have to solve both equations on either side of the equal sign and see if they are equal to the same number. If they are, then we will circle true, that the equation is true. And if they are not, we will circle false, that these equations are not true. We will be doing the same thing on number 2. On number 2, it wants us to circle whether this equation, 10 equals 11 minus 2, is true or false. So now is a good time to pause the video so that you can work on problems 1 and 2. So you need to solve each equation on either side of the equal sign to see if the equations are true or false. On number 2, you'll see that it says 10 equals 11 minus 2. So you would first have to solve 11 minus 2 and see if that is equal to 10. And again, you can pause the video now to work on those problems. I'm going to begin talking about problem number 3, so make sure you pause the video if you want more time to be working. Number 3 says, write the number you need to add to make the equation true. So on number 3, 4, and 5, we are wanting to make each of these equations true. We want them all to be true. So we need to find the missing number that would make each of these equations true. And just a reminder that a true equation is when both equations on each side of the equal sign are equal to the same number. So for numbers 3, 4, and 5, you are going to look at these equations and either solve the equation. So on number 3, you would have to solve for 7 minus 3. And on number 4, you'll see that it has a 10 on this side. So that would mean that this equation here would have to be equal to 10. So on some of these equations, it either gives you a full equation or it just gives you a number to match it to. So on number 3, you will first solve 7 minus 3 and figure out what your answer is. And then think 2 plus what number would also equal my answer. on number 4, like I said earlier, we already know that we want this side to equal to 10 because it didn't give us an equation. It just gave us a number to match it to. So on number 4, you would do the same thing. 4 plus 2 plus what number here would give me 10? We want it to be equal to this number 10. We also see this done on number 5. On number 5, it wants the equation to match the number 9. So 10 minus what number would equal 9? Now for number 6, I'm going to give you 2 options. So on number 6, it says use vocabulary in writing. It tells us to write a story problem with a true equation. Use at least 2 words from the word list. So here is our word list up top. So for number 6, I'm going to give you the option to either write your own story problem and true equation, or I am also going to write a story problem and you can use my story problem, but you have to solve my equation that I use in my problem. So I'm going to let you decide on number 6. You can either write your own story problem and true equation, or you can use my story problem, but you have to solve my equation. So let me write my story problem. So for my story problem on number 6, I wrote, Sam has 9 grapes and gets 2 more. Carrie has 12 grapes and eats one of them. Do Sam and Carrie have the same equation? Now in my story problem, I used 2 words from the word list. I used the word more and the word equation. Now if you are writing your own story problem, you just have to use 2 of any on the word list. So you could also use the word add and subtract if you'd like. So if you are choosing to solve my word problem instead of writing your own, that's perfectly fine. But now I want you to solve to see if Sam and Carrie have the same equation. So I will underline important details in my story problem as I read it again. So Sam has 9 grapes and gets 2 more. Carrie has 12 grapes and eats one of them. Do Sam and Carrie have the same equation? So if you're solving my problem, I want you to write the numbers from my story problem in an equation and see if they are true or false. So write the equation that would show Sam's 9 grapes and her getting 2 more. Then show the equation of Carrie's 12 grapes and her eating one of them. Then see if both equations are the same, which would make them a true equation if they are. And again, you can write your own story problem and solve your own equation, but if you would like, you can also solve the equation from my story problem. So it is your choice. If you are still solving on your vocabulary review, you can continue working and pause the video if you need some more time. I would like for us to go over our answers on our review so that we can check our work. So if you are still working, if you could please pause the video and then press play when you are ready to go over your answers. If you have finished your work and you're ready to go over your answers, then let's go over them. On number 1, we had to circle true or false for the addition equation below. On number 1, we would have circled that the equation 4 plus 6 equals 5 plus 2 plus 3 is a true equation. This equation is true because 4 plus 6 is equal to 10, and 5 plus 2 is equal to 7, plus 3 is also equal to 10. So this equation is saying 10 equals 10, which is true. On number 2, this equation would be false. We were given the number 10, and so 11 minus 2 would have to equal 10. But we know that if you have 11 and you take 2 away, that is equal to 9. So this equation is saying that 10 is equal to 9, which we know is false. For number 3, the missing number that we would have put in the blank would be 2. 7 minus 3 is equal to 4. So to make this equation true, because we wanted all of these equations to be true, 2 plus 2 equals 4. So we would have to put 2 in this blank. For number 4, our missing number and answer was 4. On this equation, this side of the equation had to equal 10. 4 plus 2 is equal to 6. And 6 plus 4, or 4 plus 6, is equal to 10, which makes this equation true. On number 5, we wanted our equation to be equal to 9. So 10 minus 1 is equal to 9. So this makes it 9 equals 9, which is true. Now for number 6, if you wrote your own story problem, then you will have a different answer than I do. But if you were to solve my story problem, your answer would look like this. Our first equation would be about Sam's grapes. So if Sam has 9 grapes and gets 2 more, my equation would say 9 plus 2. I'm going to write an equal sign because now I'm going to write my equation for Carrie. If Carrie has 12 grapes and she eats one of them, that's the same as saying she takes one away because she eats it. This would be my 2 equations. So now I would need to see if these are the same equation, meaning, do they have the same answer? So when I solve and check, I see that 9 plus 2, that equals 11, and 12 minus 1 also equals 11. So Sam and Carrie do have the same answers in this equation. So if you solved my story problem, you would need to show that you were able to write the 2 equations from our story problem and check to see if they check out and make a true equation. All right, my friends, great job today on our second day of review. If you have any questions at all as we are reviewing through what we learned in topic 5, please just let me know. We are going to continue our review tomorrow and some of next week. So if you have any questions, just let me know, and I'll see you later.